Hey, it's Tommy the Butcher for Wise Guys Barbecue with a new video for you today. Now this is gonna be something extra special. So you wanna pay attention because I'm gonna show you how you can do it. So the only way you're gonna be able to pull this off is if you do it at home or you have your butcher do it for you. So there's no doubt that prime rib is the king of all roast. Now, how can we take a prime rib and make it even better? I'm gonna show you, and that's called a full spinalis-jacketed boneless prime rib of beef. Just another note, Thanksgiving is behind us. We're moving to the holidays at the end of the year. We have Christmas, we have Hanukkah, we have New Year's. So this is gonna give you an idea of an option you can do. So if you're not gonna be doing it this year for the holidays, I got another tip I want you to do. Right after the beginning of the year, I want you to make a New Year's resolution. And that resolution is gonna be making friends with your butcher. Go in, form a relationship with him, so in time to come, he'll be able to help you out with needs. We got the grilling season coming up, and next year with the holidays, you'll have a friendly butcher who will be able to help you with some of these things. All right, before we get started, just a few things I want to go over. Now, what is the spinalis? The spinalis is the most coveted part of the prime rib. It is that cap, and you're never gonna see it. You won't see this in the market when you go in at all. So like I said, you're gonna have to do it yourself, or you're gonna have your butcher do it. So I'm gonna take an entire bone-in primal of rib. I'm gonna bone it out. We're gonna remove that spinalis, and then what I'm gonna do is take the spinalis from one rib, and I'm gonna jacket it over the exposed side of our boneless prime rib and then tie it all together at one. So in essence, the rib will be completely enveloped in that spinalis muscle. Now, it's important to note that this can only be done with a boneless prime rib because that spinalis, you're not gonna be able to really go over the rib bones on the bone-in rib. So it's a lot said, let's get busy. So I've got my bone-in rib. I've got it upside down. First thing we want to do is along the rib side of this, there's a lot of extra fat. We're going to get rid of that now while we have this whole base. So it's going to be nice and stable as we remove the fat. If we remove the bones first, it's just going to be wiggling and wobbling, and it'll be unsafe. So we're going to come in here. I'm going to remove this extra fat that's along the bone and expose some of that meat. And that's good. Next, want to throw this thing up on its side. So now, in essence, this is what is referred to as a standing rib roast, where it's actually sitting up like this and the bones are towards the top. I'm going to come in with my boning knife and just follow the whole length of these rib bones. Now, when I get to the end here, what I'm using with my left hand, I'm kind of separating the meat from the bones. I'm going to take my boning knife, I'm going to go straight down. That'll expose the entire rib from the bone itself. Flip it around, come back the other way, and just keep going down. Just follow that bone. Keep that knife right up against the bone. And slowly but surely, you'll have this whole back rib bone taken right off the rib. It's really not difficult. It's pretty simple. It's a little intimidating, but you can do it. And at this point, once you get it separated, just flip it back on its back, pick this up, and just follow the bone. There we go. There's our back rib. You can save this for another time. Great on the barbecue, great on the smoker. I'm gonna put that aside. So now we have our boneless rib. And that's what this is. I had trimmed it up yesterday. I actually dry brined it 48 hours ahead of time. So that's ready to go. Now I want to remove the spinalis from this one. So if you lie this on its back, there's actually a line. There's a line you can see. It's actually a seam going right across this entire rib. If you take your thumb, before you even make a cut with your knife, you can actually separate that with your fingers, your hands. So pull that, as you can see, and just keep pulling it. It'll literally separate by itself. The best thing to do is flip it back over, get your index finger, and actually, I mean, you don't even need a knife for this, folks. just keep pulling. You're gonna find it come to a few spots where it's gonna be a little difficult. So hit that knife, just separate it, keep going. Now if you have to use your knife, just use the tip. Don't go in very deeply. You don't wanna gouge the ribeye muscle that's just directly beneath the spinalis. So here's ribeye fillet muscle. We're gonna cut these up into steaks, but I wanna focus in on the spinalis first. So we'll put that aside. And here's our entire spinalis cap. Now on the far end here, you have all that tail meat and tail fat that was from the back of the rib. We wanna remove that. Gonna trim some of this excess fat off. Not all of it, you want to leave some of that on there. All right, we have our spinalis, it's ready to go. This is an entire one. And like I said, you'll never find this in the butcher shop. You're either gonna have to commit yourself to a rib or 2 ribs, either a whole rib, cut it in half, and use the spinalis off of one, or get 2 full ribs to pull the spinalis off another rib. But you won't find this muscle in the market, just the way it is. So like I said, big friends with the butcher. All right, so I have my top side of the boneless rib. This is where the fat cap was. We're gonna flip it over, and this is where the bones were that I removed. So we need to cover that exposed side with the spinalis. There's 2 ends of the rib. You have your loin end and the chuck end, which is more towards the front of the animal. This chuck end, as you can see, has a thicker spinalis and has a little bit more marbling and intramuscular fat. As we turn it around to the loin end, this is more towards the rear of the animal. This is where the rib ends and the strip begins. So that's gonna be lean. And as such, it's gonna have much less spinalis on top of that. It's gonna be quite thin. So we have a thin spinalis on the loin end. We have a thick spinalis on the chuck end. Why am I saying that? I wanna put the thick spinalis from the chuck end on top of the thin spinalis on the loin end, so we have balance. There's nice symmetry where one side will be just as thick and uniform as the other. So I'm going to take this spinalis, go right over with it. So you have the thin side with the thick spinalis, and we have the thick spinalis with the thin. Now, what's left? We're going to tie this all up, make one piece out of it. So I'm going to start with my twine. Now, when you're looking for twine, I don't think you're going to find a package of string or twine that says butcher's twine on it. There's nothing special about this. It's actually butcher's twine because it's 100% cotton. So if you're looking for any string, any twine, just make sure it's cotton. There's a lot of twines out there that have synthetic material in it, plastics, wax, but you want to make sure it's a full 100% string before you use this. So we're going to get this tied up. And the first tie I'm going to make is right in the middle. And then we'll keep branching out to each side as we go. I'm going to make them about 1 inch to 1.5 inches apart. All right, so there you have it. This is a full spinalis-jacketed boneless prime rib of beef. Now, like I said, I took this ribeye roast, I dry brined it 48 hours ago, a 48-hour dry brine for a large roast. 24 hours for steaks. I would go 48 hours to even as much as 72 hours when you're doing a whole roast. Now the spinalis, obviously I did not dry brine this because that would have, it wasn't part of this roast to begin with, so we're gonna have to just apply seasoning to this side of the roast, just a little salt and pepper, and the other one's ready to go. That's it, folks, your full spinalis-jacketed boneless prime rib of beef.